Hi everybody, I'm Byron Howard, one of the directors on Zootopia, and today I'm going to teach you how to draw Nick Wilde. Nicholas P. Wilde. Get ready, here we go. So here we go. Okay, so Judy has, I told you, like that kind of gumdrop head, right? Like that. Well, Nick, he's a fox, and foxes are carnivores, and they have to be a little more sleek. So foxes' heads are shaped a little bit more, kind of like a flattened football. So where Judy is this, Nick is more like this. You know, here's Judy. There we go. And Nick is more like this. There we go. Like this kind of thing. Ah, see? Like sneakier already. He's more streamlined, he's got a lower forehead, that sort of thing. So, if we do a big Nick, here we go. So we're gonna do the same thing. So do this nice, big, simple shape. This is kind of this sort of flattened football. A little more on the bottom than the top. There you go. And once you have that, then I usually go with Nick to the eyes. And we got a lot of this from Jason Bateman, because Jason does these little looks where he looks so sneaky, but he's so nice. He's a very nice man, but he can be very sneaky. And so we try to get this sort of half-lidded look on Nick a lot, and that gave us a lot for his expression. So that really was great, because people say, wow, I look at that fox and that looks just like Jason Bateman. And it's true, because the animators will watch Jason record and they'll try to get his personality into the drawings and the animation performance. And so I got the football shape, I put my eyes in place, got these little slanty, sort of almond eyes. You can make them a little sneaky, a little half-lidded. Usually if you keep those eyelids really high, keep those eyebrows really high, because he's not mean, he's just sneaky. There's a difference. And then I usually put the nose out here somewhere. And he's got a long snout, so that snout's gonna stick way out far. It's coming at you in 3/4. It's like 3D. Here it comes, like toward you. And then I usually kind of just put in that mouth. There it is. And a lot of what I do on this mouth is from Chuck Jones. Do y'all know who Chuck Jones is? Chuck Jones, one of my heroes, did these amazing cartoons growing up with Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. So we looked at lots of different foxes and lots of different designs for these foxes, and we looked at Robin Hood and many cartoon designs from all around the world. And as we go, you can sort of build Nick's expression, and you can put his ears coming off the back of his head. He's kind of sleek, so think of Nick like a sports car. He's like a sleek sports car. And every time you find a line, you can kind of bring it off of another line that you've already drawn, and that'll make it feel kind of graceful. And you can kind of make that flow down into his body. He kind of has that kind of puffed out chest sometimes. And then you can kind of drop his shoulders off the top like that, maybe cross his arms like that. And again, the looser you are, the better you'll feel. Because it shouldn't be pressure, you should have fun. You should just learn to flow with the drawings, just let it happen, not think about it too much. And he also has a tie down there. Oh, I'm not great at drawing ties. I'll just draw that real quick and say it's art. See, it's rough, it's art. That's fine, anyway. And Nick also has this beautiful kind of orange-red color, and you can shade him in a little bit if you just have a black pencil like I do. Kind of a little bit of that. Makes it look a little more finished. That kind of thing. Looks very sneaky, but charming, just like the real Jason Bateman. And then when you think, okay, that's about as much as I want to do with Nick, then you sign it. Sign your name, and go show someone, because they'll be very proud of you. That's how to draw Nick Wilde. Hi everybody, I'm Byron Howard. I'm one of the directors on Zootopia, and today we're going to learn how to draw Judy Hopps. When I think about Judy, I think she's very optimistic, very bright, very intelligent, very strong-willed, and so she has these very bright features. So the first thing I do is I kind of create this kind of gumdrop shape, because I love candy. I love food that is sugary. And so I create this little gumdrop shape. See, it looks a little bit like a gumdrop. Here's a gumdrop, for example. Kind of like that. So Judy has kind of a tall forehead, like this. Kind of wide cheeks, like many rabbits. We looked at many real rabbits to design Judy. And we discovered they all have adorable cheeks, so we knew that had to be part of her. And then once you get this kind of gumdrop shape in place, I usually put the nose in there because the nose is a nice anchor point that tells me which way she's going to look. So Judy's looking down to the right. And then once I have the nose, then I can use that to kind of focus these lines that kind of determine where her eyes go. And her eyes, if you think about them as being a little almond-shaped, it makes them feel like they kind of sit into her skull a little bit more, which is nice. These nice kind of lashes. And so again, you see again the very simple gumdrop shape, little tiny nose, nice big eyes. And then she has this cute little teeny tiny mouth that makes her just adorable. And Glenn Keane, the great Glenn Keane, who did Ariel and the Beast, and is a good friend of mine, taught me that to make a drawing of a mouth look really good, you put these little dark corners that kind of makes it feel like it's tucking back and shadowing it. So, and he was right. Glenn was right. He's always right. Anyway. And from that point, well, rabbits don't look like rabbits unless they have ears. And so usually what I do with the ears is I find this flow from the back of her head, because it feels good to, especially with Disney characters, to have that flow coming off of the cranium, which goes like this. See, this nice big line, big relaxed swoop, and just coming right back off the jaw. And then if you just imagine that other ear being attached back there on the other side of her head, you can kind of knock that in back there. You can do it nice and rough like that. There's no pressure. Drawing is fun. It's relaxing. It's like meditation. You just relax. And then usually I do the same thing. I kind of flow off the front of her face, down into her neck, and into her collar. And again, if you can kind of just find these flowing lines, finding these sort of flowing calligraphic lines gives your drawing a nice grace and ties it all together really nicely. And you are welcome to shade Judy. She's a gray rabbit, so if you'd like to shade her, shading is also nice. And then she has these sort of beautiful dark ear tips right up there. So if you can do this at parties, you will be so popular and people will buy you things and be your friend. And then, and usually when you do a drawing, you have to let people know who did it. So I'm Byron, so I'll sign this. Byron did this. There we go. Yeah, anyway, so it's Judy Hopps. Just because you have it up here, you can do. What you're seeing here is I've got a 2D animation desk set up, and this is what this is how I learned to animate. This is what the same setup here was the same that they used back in the 30s and the 40s when they were making the 2D films with Walt across the street, and it's all the same technology. It's just these little peg holes in the bottom of this paper, and it was always great just to sit down and start moving the character's face around. It's like once you have a solid drawing of Hopps, then you can start to play around with her expressions and you can kind of start to squash and stretch things. And our CG animators do exactly the same thing. They start with a solid pose of Hopps in the computer, and then they start building up their keys. And you can figure out how to make her kind of squinch and kind of get different expressions. She can look angry, happy, sad. But that's the great thing, is that all of what we do at Disney, whether it's CG or drawn, has this great tradition of art that's been around at our studio for about almost like 100 years. And so we love that. We love that. I love that tradition. I love the fact that every time I do another one of these films, the women and men in our animation department teach me something new, and they keep getting better and better.
My name is Corey Loftus and I'm the art director of characters on Zootopia, and today we're going to be drawing Flash. So with most of our characters in Zootopia, we're going to start with a circle for Flash's head. Now Flash is a sloth who works at the DMV, and he's one of the first people that Nick and Judy meet once they start working together. So Flash is not a whole lot more than a circle. If you imagine this tube coming out of the back. Now Flash is very, very slow, extremely slow. So in his design, I tried to make everything about him seem slow, So his eyes are literally sliding off his face. So I've drawn them like eggs sliding off a plate. And Flash's mouth is kind of like drawing a little beak. It's much more like a little parrot beak than it is our mouths. So it comes down to a little point. I'll draw the corner of his mouth. Now sloths have like this cool bandit mask that goes right over their eyes and fall right off the sides of their face. Kind of like a raccoon. And that's a lot darker than the rest of their face, so I'm going to color this in a little bit darker here around his eyes. And then his eyes, or his pupils, sit right under his lid like this. I like to draw him with his mouth open just a little bit, like he's about to start saying something, and you've caught him just as he starts talking. Now Flash has got hair on top of his head, and when I was trying to figure out what sort of hairstyle Flash would have, and Byron was talking to me about the character, I kept noticing our director's haircut, and Flash and Byron ended up getting the same haircut. So it's parted in the middle, comes down on each side. Now sloths have really thick, coarse hair. It's not soft like a rabbit or even a cat or a bear. It's really, really coarse, so you notice a lot of Flash's hairs more than you do on other animals. Drawing Flash's hair can be really fun. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw in all his hair. Something about it makes it seem more like him. And then the first time I drew Flash, I had fun imagining that he was just about to say something, but people kept interrupting him. So he's politely held up his hand for a chance to speak. Sloths have these really long claws so that they can hang on to branches. Don't have to worry about falling, so we didn't lose Flash's claws. Flash was a lot of fun design. With a lot of characters on Zootopia, you never really knew what they were going to have to do for the story. You didn't know if they were going to have to climb over a wall or you know, jump from a great height or try to reach something on a high wall, or you never knew what they were going to do. They might skate, they might open a door, but with Flash, I knew he wasn't going to do much, if anything, so I knew exactly what he needed to do, and it made his design a lot more fun because I already had a plan of what he was going to have to do in the film. And there he is.
Hi, Vale here. I love animated movies and I've got some awesome facts about Disney's Zootopia. Now, the movie begins when Emmett Atherton is reported missing. But did you know that Emmett Atherton is the star of the book Emmett Atherton's Jug Band Christmas? A children's book published in 1977 and adapted into a TV special with help from Jim Henson. Another character who does her namesake proud is Officer Judy Hopps, the inspiration obviously coming from Officer Judy Hopps, Holly Robinson's character from the 80s TV series 21 Jump Street. My favorite character from Zootopia is Flash. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe to our channel for all the best animated movie releases. Bye bye!